thank you, Terry and Ann, for inviting me to come to this gathering. This is a lot of fun that this has happened right here, so close to our offices in San Francisco. My wife, Sandy, who's in the back, put up with me during the 8 or 9 months of craziness last year with Barbra. I don't want to say just craziness, the wonderful 8 months that it was. In fact, I had PCBs up till about Christmas. Those are post-concert blues. Because I think the only analogy was, this tour, the way that it happened and the way that it built and came together, and then having to close it was like closing the biggest Broadway show of all time right when it was just getting started. So we were all sad that it did, but are hopeful that it could happen again in the future. I first met Barbra 20 years ago at a Star is Born concert in Tempe, Arizona. I was president of Bill Graham Presents in San Francisco when we got a phone call saying that Barbra, the call was from John Peters, that they were doing wanted to do a concert in Tempe, and they wanted 50,000 people in the stadium, and that she would not perform and would not sing, and they wanted 50,000 people for 8 or 9 or 10 hours of taping. The audience had to be there during that whole time. So Bill, God bless him, put together quite a good lineup of artists. There was Santana and Montrose and Peter Frampton, and help me out there. But everybody was hoping that they were going to get to see Barbra, and the tickets were $3.50. There was a big debate before we put the tickets on sale. I'll never forget was we were going to ask these people to stay in their in their seats all day. We're going to film them and a lot of starts and stops, that kind of thing. Should we charge? Oh, my assistant Mary Jo is here. Late. She's always late at the office too. Come on up here, Mary Jo, and stand next to me. So we debated a lot how much to charge for the tickets, and we didn't want to have a free concert because we just didn't want to have people that didn't care, but we didn't want it to be a lot because we were going to maybe expect a lot from them. So we set the tickets at $3.50. We sold the tickets very, very quickly, and it all happened in a very short period of time. We arrived at the concert site. We're building the stage, and there's all of the film group that's there from A Star is Born, and that's when I first met Barbra. And it was in a couple of meetings where she was clearly in charge then, and as I'll tell you more about later, more in charge as the 20 years went by. Well, for the next 3 days, there was a series of production meetings in the trailers. She would not perform, but oh yes, she did have tapes, audio tapes of just her soundtracks without vocals on them. But she just insisted she would not perform. She didn't remember the words. She was not going to go up in front of this audience with sheet music in her hand. And Bill Graham was so persuasive. He said, listen, you're going to sing. You're going to sing. You can hold the music. We will stand next to you. We will have readers around you. You will not forget the words. And he was the persuasive individual that got her to sing, and she sang several songs. And the primal experience, it was the first time that I had experienced Barbra in a concert. I mean, now we had just had some big rock and roll singers on the stage, and there was quite a good response for them. But for Barbra, this was primal. I mean, this ovation went on for 10, 15 minutes. And it was just a nice long conversation, Marty. Things are, there's really not. And there were movies and albums and all kinds of activities keeping her very busy, but the thought of touring was just not, it just wasn't going to happen. And then in 1992, Sony decided that they were going to open a merchandise division. And my brother was recruited to become president of Sony Signatures, and while he was and I was hired to become the senior vice president to help put the company together. So in January of 1993, my first invitation to anybody was to invite Marty to San Francisco to show him what we had in mind as a merchandise company. And Sony Signature was and is committed to be the best merchandise company in the world. And so we gave Marty our pitch and told him what we were going to do. And he said, "How many clients do you have?" And we said, "Well, we don't have any yet, but we're going to." And so he I'm gonna get a little bit scattered here now as I remember because I didn't prepare anything, but I brought stuff from my office and I went down to the warehouse today, and so things will I'll be stimulated by them. This bit of artwork. Marty says to me in this meeting in January, "Children will listen. It's important to Barbara. Why don't you work up something?" So, okay, we started just working on an idea. And we started designing some Children Will Listen shirts and some Children Will Listen philosophy, and Children Will Listen calendars. And we got some psychologists involved on what were the positive things. Oh, sorry. What are the positive things to say to kids? And we all listened to the song and analyzed the song and what was going on here, and what to say and what not to say, and she just really did a whole lot of work on this presentation and sent it down to Marty. And here was the Children Will Listen boutique that was going to go in stores. And here's another version of it. And so we worked on this for a couple of months. And we submitted this to Marty, and he liked that we just had done it, and I gave it to Barbara, and I have never heard what she felt about this presentation. But I just had a feeling that with our passion and that someday we would do something for her as a company. And several months go by. In November of '94, 13, 14 months ago, about 6 weeks to 2 months before New Year's Eve, we get a call. Maybe New Year's Eve. Maybe New Year's Eve in Las Vegas. Oh, pound. So we immediately started to think, what would we do if this was going to happen? And by then, Sony Signatures had developed a large creative services staff and product development staff and buyers and merchandisers. We all gathered and huddled and kind of said maybe, and so start to think about what we might do. A week later, maybe became come down and make a presentation, and things really started to move quickly then. We knew that there was going to be an event. We didn't know if it was going to be one night or 2 nights. How much the ticket price was going to be, but during the last 30 years that I have been on the road and doing shows and doing merchandising, there are standard things that you do when you are preparing for a tour. You make a hat and a T-shirt and a program, those kinds of things. So we started to work on concepts for those kinds of things. This B but I'm not going to participate in seeing too much of that. But that bee is a very special bee, I can tell you. Both NBC had a lot to. They couldn't just put that bee up there without, going through a myriad of attorneys and clearances and whatever to deal with that bee. So, after a preliminary meeting, none with Barbara at this point, though, with Marty, who I have the deepest respect for and affection for. Marty Earthman is like a father to Barbara. I've never known him in the 20 years to ever say yes to anything that had to do with something to do with Barbara. He claims the right to be able to say no, and he does that without equivocation and frequently. I mean, he's really extremely protective, and when and if something is really, really good, then he says, okay, you can show it to Barbara. And that's kind of the process. You get a quick no on things that don't fit Barbara's and Marty's filter for either good business or good project. And so after we came back to San Francisco with my good colleague Mary Jo, we must have made 100 designs of different products, put them all into boards, and I brought a book. Let's see.
Yay, Mary Jo.
This is Mary Jo. This book is a book of the products that we have designed that Barbara has approved. That she's approved for sale, with the exception of a few pages, which I'll tell you about when we get to them. The first line of products we did about 45. We probably did 100 product designs. She approved 45 products to go to sample stage. In the first meeting, we had written up the kinds of products that we would put together, and she decided which of those kinds of things that we could take to the next stage. The next stage meant drawing them and putting the graphics together. After we brought all of those down, she quickly, and as the chairwoman of the board that I learned that she truly is, yes, no, 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 yes, no, 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 yes. I mean, she knows what she likes, and she was very articulate, specific on that'll be okay, change that, don't like that, And so with all of these changes that went on these boards, I was always on my knees when I presented stuff to Barbara. For whatever reason, Barbara would be sitting in a chair. There would never be, it's not like you cozy up to Barbara and say, I'd like to show you my binder. It was like I would be on the floor with one knee propped up with the boards, maybe stuck up under my chin, and she would be leaning over, sometimes putting her glasses on, and no. I would take the nose and stack the nose over here, and the okays or changes with whatever little notes that we made on them. Flew back to San Francisco, met with our group. Why don't you tell me first about Mary Jo? Then these first pages are the Las Vegas products. I saw that silk jacket that you're wearing, and one of 60 or 100 of those jackets was all that we made of those. And part of the things that we decided to do in Las Vegas, because in Las Vegas, we didn't know if there was ever going to be another, there was 2 nights, we didn't know if there would be any more. Some of the items we made, there were only hundreds of some things. And in the case of these silk jackets, there was, I'm trying to remember, 60 to 100, but not more than that. And but the maroon silk shirts and boxer shorts, and the black silk shirts and boxer shorts, and the night shirts with these famous bees on them now, all happened in Las Vegas. We didn't know what was going to happen in Las Vegas. We had no idea. I spent Christmas Christmas with my family. Several of us flew to Las Vegas to be there the day after Christmas, and work for the week to get set up. And we thought we'd be able to leisurely, just kind of set up a big hotel that's opening up here and whatever. It was extremely chaotic. And as soon as we put our little stand up in the lobby, we were knocked over, mauled. I mean, we had no idea.
We were the ones.
Welcome back. I must say, we love you, and you were a part of that night. I've been a part of and fortunate enough to be a part of really big shows. Never have I experienced anything like that show and those 2 nights. To have a reference, the largest concert selling artists in the last 20 years maybe would sell at a concert $13 or $14 worth of goods for each person that would come into the building. The Super Bowl is the biggest kind of granddaddy event. It sells about $20 worth of goods. The people that go to a Super Bowl buy a program and a T-shirt or whatever, and it averages out. If you were to take all the people that were in the stadium and divide up all of the product that you have, that they sell about $20 per person. Barbra at the Las Vegas concert, for the people that attended the shows, bought an average of more than $40 per person. So she has.
Not in this room. It was a lot more than that.
There were surely those of you and other people who I have a great deal of affection for that came up and said, "I want one of everything. Bag it, box it, and get it ready." And where at most concerts you get 20s, we were getting $100 bills like they were $20 bills, and we couldn't keep up with it. We literally ran out of everything by the end of the concert. These silk jackets were never intended to be sold, and they were jackets that were going to be used for the cast and the crew, and we just started running out of stuff so quickly that we decided to sell them. So, I mean, we felt bad that we didn't have the.
Thank you, Dave.
People were coming up and saying, "Hey, you're out of this." And well, we're sorry. Would you like a jacket? Okay. Then maybe it'll be. I'll tell you what. I will leave this with Terry and with Ann. This catalog, so that you can all go through it. Several of these items in here, I mean, are like extinct now. They don't exist. Some of them still do, and we're not permitted to sell them. Our agreement with Barbra and with Marty was that at the conclusion of the concert that the sales would stop. And we're in this. There's nothing we would love to do more than open Barbra boutiques around the world, but that I'm hoping will come in time. But the time is now that we have no permission whatsoever to sell them. But we do have the pictures of them, and I invite you all to take a look at them, and you keep track of these things, because my experience is they'll come back around. At least discussion times or at further collector meetings or whatever, and some of these products might be authorized to reappear. This bottle of champagne, we lugged our, several hundred cases of champagne to the Las Vegas event. It was a really, it was a special vintage of champagne. We had really searched around to buy this whole collection of this one pressing of this champagne. And we got down there and they said, "Well, you don't have a liquor license, so you can't sell it." Okay, we'll save it. And that's, what we did, is we saved it. Barbra has given probably several cases away to people that worked in the show, and that night we all had champagne and that kind of thing. But that was a product that was never sold. What's that? Terry and Ann are going to put this out. Yeah, this was going to sell for $100 a bottle, and we never sold any. We were not authorized to sell them. So that's the official bottle of champagne right there.
Wait till tomorrow night.
Okay, let's go back to this guy here. Okay, we brought several samples of things that are no longer where they're like one of a kind left that we have. We're going to leave them here for you all to look at, but they're not going to be a part of the sale or auction. They're just kind of for you all to look at. And at least if we keep them all together, then every time you all have a gathering, we'll be able to drag them out and look at them.